So you are going to get started working on your presentation outline, and you're going to be writing a paragraph for each of the topics that you covered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this document very quickly, and then we are going to give you some examples. I'm going to kind of go over how to write each one of these, and we'll go with that. Okay. So each one of these, okay, so let's just start here at the top and let's just go through it. Okay. So this is just for your own introduction. And we might be doing a podcast, might just be doing a recording, not entirely sure yet. Okay. But this will let you have the ability to just talk about your presentation. Okay. So you're going to introduce yourself. So, hi, I'm Mr. LaRue. Introduce the podcast if you're doing one, or what you be covering in this presentation. And in this podcast, in this presentation, I'm going to be going over the career that I chose, which I chose, whatever I chose teacher because blah, 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 blah. Okay. And so introduce the job you research and why you choose the job. So what you can just do underneath each of these things is this is where you can type. So you can say, hello, my name is Mr. LaRue, and in this podcast, we are going to cover the career of teaching. Okay? And if you want to bold it, if you want to change colors, go for it. Okay? And then down here, I chose this job because, and then blah, 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 blah. Okay? So those are those ones. This is probably where everyone is getting confused at. So I'm gonna go over one of the topics, and then you can do all the rest of them. Okay. So each one of these topics is one of those columns that we had, and so for example, this one is just daily routine. Topic number 2 is education. Topic number 3 is work environment. Topic number 4 is technology. And then topic number 5 was something important to you. Okay. So those are your topics. Those are the things that you have done research on and that you have interviewed or emailed your person questions about. And so they should have those. Okay. So I'm going to start up here and I'm going to go through each one of these things here. Okay. It's the topic sentences. Okay. So let's talk about topic sentences here real quick. So the topic sentence of your paragraph is the first sentence in that paragraph. And the purpose of that topic sentence is it allows me to know exactly what you are going to be talking about in that one paragraph. So if your first paragraph is about the daily routine of your job, I know I'm not going to hear about salary. I know I'm not going to hear about technology. I know I'm not going to hear about education. I know I'm going to hear about the daily routine. Okay? That's the purpose of it. It helps your reader, it helps your audience, listener, whoever it is, understand, okay, this is where he or she is going, and I can follow along a little bit better. Sometimes that topic sentence introduces the main points and the details that will be covered in that paragraph. And I will give you a couple examples here in just a second. Now, there are 3 types of topic sentences that you can choose from. My gut feeling is going to be that you're going to choose either cluing or specific. Okay? But general ones, they only cover the main idea, and you have no idea where that paragraph is going to be going. So a cluing one for ours, or a general one for ours, is going to be someone like, teachers have a daily routine that they must go by throughout the day. It doesn't tell me anything about the daily routines, doesn't give me a hint about how many topics you're going to cover. It is just telling me that there is a daily routine that teachers have to have. Okay. A cluing one, and I'm going to kind of come over here real quick. It uses words like the numbers, it uses words like variety, many, examples, stuff like that. So for this one, it is going to be something along the lines of there are many things a teacher does in his or her daily routine throughout the day. I use the word many. Okay? Many is a cluing word that lets me know, okay, I'm going to talk about many different things. If I want to say there are three main things a teacher does in his or her daily routine, that then lets you know, okay, I'm going to talk about three different things. And then specific topic sentences, they tell you exactly what it's going to be about. I'm going to guess that because our paragraphs are not necessarily like an argument, that this one maybe you won't use as much actually. But you could do something like there a teacher has many things to do throughout his or her daily routine, including example 1, example 2, and example 3. So going back to this one, so that's where you will put your topic sentence, okay? Again, that's that first sentence in that paragraph. So I'm going to do that cluing one. There are many things a teacher does during his or her routine throughout the day. So now I know that, okay, I'm going to talk about daily routine. Now this part is going to be all about the daily routine, okay? So let's go down and talk about that real quick here, okay? So the middle part of your paragraphs are what we call detail sentences. They discuss the details of the paragraph. What they also do is they kind of explain it, they go into detail, they give examples, stuff like that. In your research, you have done the following things. One, you have looked for numbers, you have looked for data and statistics. They would go in there. Number two, you have looked for examples and you have interviewed someone with that career. Those are ways to prove that you were correct. And so you are going to use those to your advantage in this part, okay? So I really like looking at this as a way to kind of help you remember. So like this whole train right here is a paragraph. Topic sentence is here at the front. And then we got the L's here, and then we got the F's. And the L's are lead off sentences, and the F's are follow up sentences. Okay? And as you can see here, this lead off sentence has 3 follow ups, and this one's only got 2. That's okay. So, a lead off sentence, it introduces a new detail into the paragraph. And it also contains a transition word. And I will put a list of transition words on Google Classroom for you because it kind of depends on what way you're going with it. If you're going with a daily routine, I'm thinking about, okay, how can I make that daily routine a little bit better for the audience? Well, a daily routine goes in chronological order. So maybe there is some chronological order stuff there that you can go by. So maybe when they first get there to when they leave, you can kind of go through a daily routine. So then if you go in chronological order, you go first, that's a transition word. First, a teacher does this, and then explain all those kind of things. Then, or next, those are both transition words, next, and then they do those kind of things. If you are doing education in paragraph number 2, that might be a good way to do it. First, in high school, you are recommended to take these classes, and then at college, this is what you have to do in order, or whatever job you're doing, whatever kind of training it requires. So first is high school, and then you do that, and then you go that way. Some of our paragraphs, like work environment, technology, and even some of these ones, might not fit into a chronological thing, and you're just giving off examples, and that's where numbers like 1, 2, and 3. So one thing, there are many things that a teacher does in his or her routine throughout the day. One of those things is blank, and then you explain it. Another one is that. One and another are transition words for your lead off sentences, okay? So right here, a lead off sentence, one topic, the word one topic a student can like is English. And now these follow-up sentences, they will help explain that. That's where you bring in your evidence. That's where you bring in your research that you've done. That's where you bring in the answers that you've gotten from your person. And so the follow-ups here are English classes deal with reading, writing, and public speaking. It ties right back into the word English here. If a student likes to read books, this may be his or her favorite class. And so both of these things go with this English one. Then I could do another topic, a student like, oh, actually, I have the word here, however, which is a transition sentence. However, if a student likes numbers instead of words, then math could be their favorite subject. You could just do another subject a student could like is math, and then talk about that. So that is in the middle of your paragraph. You're given examples, you're given facts, you're given data to back up what you have just said. Okay? So let's go back up to this now. So I'm going to do my lead off sentence first, which is going to be, let's see here, one thing a teacher has to do during his or her daily routine. Also notice how I'm bringing back the words daily routine from over here as well. Is one thing a teacher has to do is grade assignments, okay? So now each of my follow-up ones has to be a teacher has to grade so he or she knows where their students are at academically. Oh, I did I spell? Oh, no, I'm right there. A teacher must grade these assignments in a timely manner. Otherwise, students get mad at him or her. I understand the irony of me writing this right now, okay? And then I would go another thing a teacher has to do, and then keep going with it, okay? So now you're going to have a little bit more in there, you know, and you might say, and then so like in one of your follow-ups, you know, if you asked a teacher about their grading and why they grade, here's how you would add that in there. And this is why if you don't have your answers yet from your person, that is totally okay. You can add them in later on because they should back up what you're already saying in here. According to Mr. LaRue, teacher at North Tama, he says that grading papers is a long process, but it is worth it to see grow in their writing. You know, and maybe it doesn't fit there. Maybe I would rather take it and bring it down here. There we go. And so you can add it in wherever you want to add in your quotes, as long as it makes sense and as long as it works in there. I mean, you might need to reword some stuff, you know, later on when you get those quotes in there. But if you already have answers, if your person has already emailed you back, add them in now. Okay. So that's topic sentences and that's detail sentences. Now we're going to come over here to transition sentences for your everything. On here, I call them concluding sentences. So each paragraph will only have one idea, and then you need to transition to the next paragraph. Okay. If you're only writing one paragraph or you're writing your last paragraph, then it'll be a little bit different, but every paragraph will be a concluding sentence. So they're the last sentence in the paragraph. It closes the paragraph, and in this case, it will also transition to the next paragraph. it once again names the main idea in that paragraph, and sometimes it'll summarize or name the details in that paragraph. Okay? So, if it's a transitional one, which all yours will be except for your last one, they will summarize what you just said, and then they will introduce the next topic, okay? So, we're going back to that, what's one of your favorite classes, English, math, whatever it is, okay? This is a general concluding sentence. Overall, there is a class for every student to call his or her favorite. That told me, exactly about what the paragraph was about, but it didn't give me any details at all. It didn't tell me about math. It didn't tell me about science. It didn't tell me how many topics it covered. It's just a general one. This one, overall, these are 4 classes could be a favorite class for any student. So it tells you, okay, he talked about 4 classes, just reminding us. It could be a favorite for any student. And I talked about favorite, talked about student again. Perfect. And then the specific ones, overall, there are many classes that could be a favorite for students, including English, math, science, or history. So it lists all 4 things there. Now, in theory, your topic sentence and your concluding sentence should be different kinds. So if you use a cluing one for your topic sentence, you shouldn't use a cluing one for your N1. However, we need to also make sure that we are transitioning to the next topic, okay? So, now that we have covered the daily routine of a teacher, let's discuss what kind of education it takes to become a teacher. Okay? So then you would be able to so I went from daily routine here, and I just said I'll be covered the daily routine of a teacher. I didn't tell you anything else about it, so it's a general one where this is cluing. Let's discuss what kind of education it takes to become a teacher. Now, since we're doing like a presentation or a podcast, it's okay to use words like us and like say like I and stuff like that. Normally teachers don't like that, okay? Let's discuss what kind of education it takes to become a teacher. And then you would come down here to this one and call it education. And then here you would talk about, and I use mini up here, so I probably wouldn't want to do that again. But I could say, many things a person can do to become a teacher. There are, and I use the word many again. I don't want to use the word many again. There are a variety of things a person can do to become a teacher. And then starting, which is a transition sentence, starting in high school, a person could several classes to get ready for a career in teaching. And then I would go into it, okay? And so this is going to require you to have up your research as well. One of the things that I let you do in your research was copy and paste. Now, this is where you don't copy and paste. One other thing that I had not talked about here is citing your sources, okay? So, right here, according to Mr. LaRue, that is citing your source, okay? And then I gave my title, teacher at North Tama. So if you're doing according to Dr. Whoever, doctor of pediatricians at University of Iowa Hospital, blah, 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 blah. So give their name, get a title. If you're taking it from one of the websites, instead you would say according to Career One Stop, and then you could quote it or you could summarize it in your own words, okay? But you have to give credit to where you got it from, okay? I'm going to be looking for that credit, okay? So we've gone over topic sentences. We had gone over detail sentences, leads, and follow-ups. And then we went over transitions, okay? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to write out your 5 paragraphs, okay? When you are done, you are going to put it in Classroom. You are going to write me a comment telling me which paragraph, either A, you feel the most confident in and you want me to look at to make sure that you did a good job, or B, the one that you did the least confidence on and you want me to go over and look at it that way, okay? Because then what I will do is I will look at each of these paragraphs and I will go, yep, that looks good, or that doesn't look as good. Let's try to beef it up. Once again, if you do not have your interview yet, that is totally fine. If you need to email someone else, like if you emailed someone and they haven't responded back yet, then email someone else. Fine, yeah, that go to that second source now, okay? If you need to send me your email again, or if I have not checked it yet, please let me know and email me, and I will look at that and I will get it back to you. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, please email me. Let me know.